What's going on, you guys? We got a new trailer for Star Wars Resistance, so I'm gonna talk about it. I'm also gonna put a link down in the description below so you can watch the whole thing yourself. But Sunday, October 7th, so it's coming really soon. And it looks pretty cool. The animation style, very cool. Kind of reminds me of one of the Ultimate Spider-Mans that they had going on Disney for a little while. But we get a lot of new looks at these ships, and that's really one of the coolest things about it. This is clearly not an X-Wing. It looks like this is actually just a modified kind of hybrid made from an old T-65, but totally rebuilt. And that's one of the things you kind of get from this trailer is that this main ship, Kazuda's ship, is I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Kazuda. Although the way Disney tends to pronounce things sometimes, it might be like Kazude. You know, who knows? Tantive should have been Tantive, but it's Tantive. So, regardless, Kazuda's fighter is that, like, this is the one from the main logo, is some kind of X-Wing rebuilt trash dump, you know, Frankenstein ship. But yeah, I mean, it definitely resembles an X-Wing, but it's got a lot of special modifications and a lot, maybe Z95 wings, no engines. So I don't know. I don't know where the engine. Oh, it's these little. I guess it's these little engines on the sides. They're smaller engines and they go in the, in different wings. But it looks like the chassis of an old T-65, just completely Frankensteined up. And they show us there's some stunt races going on. This show looks like it's very much going to have to do with starfighters and, both space and atmospheric. At least from this trailer today, looks like it's pretty much a trailer from the pilot. I'm sure that this is going to be a show that does focus on space combat as well, but this first episode appears to be a pilot. The premise is that Kazuda gets sent by Poe Dameron to go infiltrate some folks and find out who is actually sympathetic to the Resistance and who's not. So he's kind of like an undercover spy trying to get into these ace pilots, trying to recruit more pilots for the Resistance. That's basically the premise, and we do get to see some cool pilots and some really cool looking ships. And a lot of it, this appears to be like this base. It's on this oceanic planet, so it allows them to do a lot of... And an oceanic planet is actually cool because... Maybe kind of cool. It's good for them because it allows easier animation. Because if you only have to, it's almost like animating in space. You can do, this way you don't have to draw trees and mountains and all this stuff on the ground. You can just have blue in the background. So, it's just, I guess it allows them to crank out episodes faster. I don't really have a problem with that. It actually kind of makes sense to have an academy for pilots on an oceanic world. This way you don't have to worry about less crashes. And things like that. But yeah, we do see a whole lot of flying. This is really going to lend itself to tabletop games as well. So games like X-Wing are going to have a field day with this pilot because there's so many, by pilot I mean first episode, because there's so many new little fighters in here. And here's where we kind of see the project, as I want to call it. I don't know what the name of this fighter is going to be, but it looks like it's got the chassis of a T-65, wings of something else. Maybe even one of those sand skimmers from The Last Jedi. Those might be the wings on there as well. And then this front apparatus, which I don't know what that is. Maybe it's an escape pod. BB-8 is in this as well. So that's interesting. So we do see Poe as well. And we've heard from the premise that there was going to be some guest stars like Phasma will show up at some point. I don't know if she'll be in the pilot or not. I do expect Oscar Isaac's presence as Poe Dameron to primarily be in the pilot and less in all the other episodes. He'll be somebody who probably comes around during maybe your series finales and your season premieres and things like that. But yeah, we get a lot of shots of this ship, so it definitely seems like this is his project. He goes to work in a garage, works for somebody who's like, all right, you can work here, but keep your secret mission out of my business. And this looks like this is the ship that he kind of works on. I have a feeling that if this show is successful and gets multiple seasons, which I have no doubt it will, we'll see this ship get destroyed at some point and he'll have to build a newer one, because this is like very much an introductory, hey, I'm learning about ships, so this is my first one, but I'm sure he'll graduate to a better ship at some point. And we get this really fancy looking fighter. This is one of the female pilots that's in here that appears to be also one of the principal characters, because she's got a lot of speaking parts in this trailer, and her ship looks pretty snazzy. And this would easily lends itself to a game like X-Wing, especially if it's very maneuverable and it's doing all this stuff. This would probably be like an ace, a really nice ship, whereas his will be kind of a junky ship. We also get some First Order ships, which is really, really cool. And so we get, and it's very small. I had to zoom in a little bit, but they look like these are like Actus Edda 2s, kind of, but it's not the same thing. It's obviously the First Order's take on it, but it definitely seems to be inspired by those. So very, very cool to see them show up here. And so this is, this is one of those things I think that we've been waiting to see more First Order fighters, so that the First Order factions in games like X-Wing can flush themselves out. Same reason I have said that it's too early for First Order and Resistance factions to come to a game like Armada, because there's just not enough ships to flush out 2 new factions. And even in The Last Jedi, we did get a lot of new capital ships for the Resistance. We don't have enough to balance it with the other side, and getting more fighters is one way to improve that. I'm sure as this show picks up, we'll go into space and we'll see some more capital ships, but very, very excited about this. But I want to hear what you guys think. Star Wars Resistance coming to the Disney Channel Sunday, October 7th at 10 p.m. Starting at 10 p.m. makes me think this isn't going to be too much of a kiddie show. I think it's going to be very much along the lines of Star Wars Rebels, and now that it was, at least teen level, if not teen or adult. So it's probably going to be very very enjoyable. Probably won't feature a whole lot of Jedi business, which is kind of a bummer, but definitely happy about the Starfighter battles. Those are my 2 favorite parts of Star Wars, is the Jedi stuff and the Starfighter stuff. If they could have both of them, that's why I like Star Wars Rebels so much, is we had a lot of both sides. But I'm very excited about this show. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know in the description below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Go ahead and subscribe. Click that little bell for alerts so you don't miss out. And probably having some more giveaways coming up in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that as well. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.